And then we got a rematch after.
Then you can rematch after. Alex will kill me if I allow you guys to have a rematch, but. In the middle.
You want to go in the middle?
Well, I mean, I don't want you guys to fight.
I don't even know who that is.
Do I need to keep you separated? I should get off to the side probably, but
You should do something.
I know I should do something. Well,
I'm actually kind of mad about that.
I know. You're gonna be on. We got you on tilt now.
What's tilt?
Tilt is like when you start messing up, I guess. It's a poker term.
Yeah, it's a poker term.
It's a poker term. Yeah.
You're on tilt.
Exactly. You're on tilt. So, thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That is, I'm sure, one of the big achievements of your post-playing career.
I didn't expect this tonight, so I'm actually really excited. Yeah. This is awesome. It's weird, like, imagining performers. Because you look up and I can't see anything right now. I can see these like 3 guys.
Right.
But people actually performing, they act like they're into the crowd.
Right, and they
have no idea.
No.
It's bizarre. Comedians.
Yeah.
Same thing.
And this is like probably a toned down version of that if you're, I would think.
It's blinding. It's got to be blinding. Like you're talking to nobody.
Right.
It's weird.
It's just us guys hanging out.
4 dudes, huh?
We are going to do a version of Dear Will Bruin because Dear Will Bruin is got to be the great discovery of the off season, right? That's if there's one thing you got out of being injured, it was probably
I had a lot of time on my hands.
Right.
It's really helped with recovery.
I mean. Right, you didn't go crazy.
Exactly. The mental side is way more important than the physical side.
Way more. So when you score your first goal, I'm expecting a shout out to the press box. Right.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
Question. Say thank you, Jeremiah.
Right.
And
so one of the other great segments, I think, of the Will Bruin podcast, Bear With Us. If you haven't heard Bear With Us, I highly recommend checking out the Will's podcast. It's wonderfully produced.
Jeremiah's podcast. Let's be realistic.
It's really Lickett's podcast.
Whose brainchild is it?
It's Will's. Will came up with this. Will approached me about doing a podcast.
So then it's Will's.
It's Will's. It's 100% Will's podcast.
It's Jeremiah's for saying yes.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
If you ever sell it, it's yours.
Right, exactly. So, speaking of, I did want to ask you, you are now doing a podcast. What would possess you to do such a thing, Brad?
I don't know. I mean, I got really nothing else to do. I mean, I'm a brand ambassador. It's a pretty loose term.
Yeah.
I left the office at 12:30 today. Honestly, it was a solid 3 hours, and I was exhausted. Like way more tired than I've ever been as a player.
You had to call like every season ticket holder, right?
Yeah, I did. Right? So I think it's going to be a regular thing with Steve and I. So it'll be hopefully every Friday, every Wednesday, something like that once the season gets started. But it'll be just super fun. We'll have guests on as well, and we'll figure it out as we go. So it should be a good time overall.
Good. Well, Will, do you have any advice? Like, let's start with this first advice. What's your advice for someone starting a podcast?
Don't mess it up. That's my advice.
It goes by really fast.
It does.
To be honest, it was like 50 minutes. And there was a little like Schmetz, tidbit in there for a couple of minutes, but otherwise it goes by, and you don't want to like drag it on for an hour and a half, right? You want to give people, a good 40-45 minutes. And so it's tough to cover everything and kind of have a laugh and be serious at the same time.
So, Brad, you are everywhere right now. You also did a Reddit AMA.
Yeah.
how? And your name on Reddit is Pine. No, what's it's like Peak to Pine?
Huh?
Isn't that your name on Reddit?
Pitch to Pine.
Pitch to Pine.
And that was like our concept when we decided to buy the Airstream. So we had like, instead of doing a blog, we named it that, I guess.
Right.
So
it was like an Instagram.
It was an Instagram thing, yeah. And my sister, I guess, thought of it, and it was actually pretty cool. And while we were traveling, I was doing a lot of stuff on Reddit, just in the air, because they helped me out a lot when I was buying my Airstream and doing the renovating too. So I wanted to post progress pics and of our journey and things like that. So it was actually really beneficial to us.
So my big takeaway from that is you don't use shampoo. That's what I got out of this Reddit.
No more shampoo. No more no more shampoo. Just conditioner and no body soap.
No body soap, just conditioner.
No conditioner.
No, so just conditioner in the hair, but no body soap.
Water.
Just water.
Wow.
Read about it, guys. Smell me, dude. Smell me.
He's
not that.
It's
no, it's not. Oh. So, Will,
Smell me.
So.
I'm sweating from the thing called.
I know. You just lost your, I did not mean that to happen.
I'm still feeling.
That was a drag race. That last round was an absolute drag race. So I didn't really have a question about this, Will, but I was listening to last year's episode of Yacht Ones, which ended up being like the only episode of Yacht Ones that we ever did. But you mentioned that you got a Gold Cup trophy, a Gold Cup medal, without playing at all in the Gold Cup tournament. And were you thinking about that when you won MLS Cup this time?
Sick bird. Whose podcast is it really? See what I mean?
I'm sorry.
I can't even get back fully into training before you come at me, huh?
This is the last time. This is like, I'm never going to be able to do this again. This is like my one and only shot. All right, so we do have some questions, though. We got a few from Twitter. I wanted to. This one was from King Freeman. His goes by Freeman Mester. He says, "Is there any way to donkey calf on Thursday without losing my voice in waves of elation and frustration? Do you have any good warm-up techniques for my voice?"
The thing is, donkey calf is gonna donkey calf. You can't get away from that.
It's like being Geiger.
There's gonna be one call that you're just like, that's donkey calf. You have been donkey calf.
Standard stuff.
You just gotta expect it.
Somebody's going on a stretcher.
Exactly.
Whether it's minute 1 or minute 91.
Exactly.
Somebody's on a stretcher.
There's no way around it. It is what it is. And you deal with it.
You deal with it. It is the worst though, isn't it?
It won't be as bad in Seattle, but
I don't know. Last time we played this team, it was pretty bad.
You remember that pretty well?
It was pretty bad.
Man, not
to get worse.
You played. Do you remember when you guys played San Francisco?
No.
It was like
I don't remember things. Steve Zakawani remember. That's one thing I've learned. Is Zakawani remembers everything from himself and from other players. I remember nothing. I have to see video to say. I don't know what it is. Will, are you the same way?
I'm the same as you. I have trouble remembering things I did 3 days ago.
Yeah.
But that's what being a dad is.
Yeah. I've been up probably since I think 4 a.m. this morning. I didn't want to sleep. So.
I remember championships, big moments, but you're asking me to remember San Francisco? I didn't even know we played that team.
Yeah.
I thought you were asking if we went to San Francisco.
No, this is like
a team?
It was just like a qualifier that you guys played, I think in like 2011, I want to say. Nate Jakwa scored in like the 130th minute.
No idea.
Right?
No idea.
I probably wasn't even there, to be honest.
It's possible. It's quite possible. You were probably hurt, to be honest.
It's true. It's true.
All right. So,
Jeremiah's feeling himself today.
When you get
the suit, it gives you confidence.
That's what it is.
Are you in the media game on Friday?
I think I might be getting 45 in that game.
Oh, that's your first game.
Is that going to warm you up?
I'm gonna go for that.
All right, so this one's from SounderFan74, 1974, which based on this question, I'm wondering if it's a
I'm wondering
a gnome to plume. What do you think about Brian Schmetzer's style?
I mean, dad times 100. We're talking about style.
Style.
Clothing style.
Yeah.
Dad.
Amazing.
Just dad.
Yep.
It's just dad.
I mean,
like if there was a store called Dad, he'd have like the little swiping card where you get the discount.
You'd be like the model on the storefront.
Yeah, the storefront. Yeah, Dad.
Yeah, that seems fair.
What do you think? Are you going to answer the question?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, what do I think?
Yeah. This is on
I mean, that's a very fair depiction of it. I think that dad style.
Yeah, it's like clean.
Yeah,
clean.
he tucks in his shirt.
Yeah, and then games he really dresses up though, right? Which is
I will say
nice to
this.
see.
He absolutely. I could tell when he went from being the
When he got
interim
the pay
coach.
raise.
Exactly. When he went from being the interim coach to being the full-time coach, all of a sudden his stuff was tailored.
Yeah, he went
and
from
it
Jose
fit
Bank
nice.
to like Hugo Boss. Really.
Yes, exactly. It was slick.
It was good.
It was slick. So this is from someone named Dave Clark, and so he's curious. He's got a barbecue coming up, and he's going to be throwing some steaks on the grill. And should the host decide how well done the steaks are going to be, or if someone requests well done, are you going to actually?
Excuse me? My wife only eats it well done.
Oh!
I have been furious at times when I'm cooking a steak and she's like, I put it on a little longer. I'm like, oh, God. So I think by process of eliminations, I have to say that you take requests, even though I'm not for it.
Right.
But if you're putting out completely bloody steaks, I think it's realistic to
I take
take
requests.
requests.
Yeah, keep the people happy.
Okay, fair enough.
People happy.
Unless
Fair
it's like
enough.
super well done, then just don't give a steak.
That's I don't know anybody that likes it well done, to be honest.
Well, apparently his wife.
It's medium now.
Medium.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so this one, this one's from Manwich13, which is a good name.
Like that.
Should I stay in my job that I should move on from for more money because I get to play pickup soccer on my lunch break? I feel like lunch break soccer is the ultimate perk. I don't know if I can beat it. I need your help.
Oh man, which
Typical Manwich question.
yeah, he probably likes his steaks well done, huh? No,
Depends on the money.
That's
It depends on the money. If it's like a significant raise, you
Yeah.
leave, right?
Sure.
You gotta leave. Otherwise, I don't know. I mean, soccer at lunch is pretty cool.
That is.
It's got to be Microsoft though, right? Because they've got that little pitch.
I
So
think
he's probably
we can
he's doing
figure
all
this out.
right.
We could
Yeah,
probably figure this
it's
out.
like an Amazon
Manwich.
versus a Microsoft situation.
Yeah, probably something where it's got a cool little field.
Right.
Yeah, I say take another job.
Okay.
You can always go back.
You can always, and you can kind of play on the week. You can go on the weekends.
Play at night.
Yeah, play at night. It's a very.
take the job.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, this one's from Keep On Keeping On. They say, Dear Will Bruin, of all the alcohols to be had, which one should I avoid at all costs? Please illustrate your choice with a funny real-life experience. Obviously, this is for both of you, so we need this.
I would say avoid Everclear. I don't have a real life story on that. That's what I would say to avoid it.
Heard stories.
And first thing that comes to mind for me is probably spring breaks way back in the college days and tequila. You know, it used to get the best of me. So
That was
stay
cheap
away from
tequila,
that.
too.
Yeah, that
That
was
wasn't
like the
good
cheapest
tequila.
tequila. Yeah,
Shotgunning beers is always a bad choice. I had a blackout situation in high school.
Unless you have to do it after you lose a golf hole or something, you know.
I stumbled in really late in high school, and my mom was like, "Are you drunk?" And I said no, and laid on my bed, got the spins immediately, and was comatose for a good 36 hours. So shotgunning beers is out. It's out.
Question is, how many?
Too many. Although in high school it's probably like 4.
Right.
4 lights. Yeah. Oh my god.
So this one's from Pencilbot Chad. That's a good name.
Pencilbot Chad.
Yeah. So how do you stay positive while recovering from an ACL surgery or really any surgery? In my case, surgery number 2 next week, 6 months after the first one.
I really recommend being a guest on Jeremiah's podcast. No, just try to. Huh?
Is that a paid statement?
Yeah, he's paying me back later. But no, easy everybody, not like that. But yeah, just find things to take your mind off. That would be my advice there.
You have some experience.
Yeah. I don't know. I always found comfort in my dog because we don't have kids, and Becky was working all the time. So just being able to go home and hang out and take your mind off things was number one. And just knowing that you're going to get healthy eventually. It's just a matter of time. Doesn't mean that you're not going to get injured right away, but the shit all comes to an end at some point. So enjoy it while you can.
So this one was from Mick Luck, who I believe is here. What is he wants to know, what's the best way to elevate my taco game? I'm assuming he's entertaining. So like, what do you have any taco advice?
Man, I really like tacos Chukies. I'm not really good at making tacos, so I don't have any. So I don't really have good advice on that, but the more meat, the better, I think. Load it up.
I always like small corn tortilla, cheese, corn tortilla on top of that, and then add your meats, salami. Everyone learns something in it.
Just describe Taco Bell.
Gordita Supreme.
Easy word.
Yeah. Maybe it's an Arizona thing. I don't know.
So this one's from Tim Foss, who was just hosting the game. He says, my wife and I are planning on moving so that we can get a dog. What's the best way to go about choosing a dog?
Yeah, I don't know. I think the dog chooses you. I would recommend a rescue dog, I'm sure. That'll be the next step. And it'll choose you. It'll choose you. Unless you have to have a
Miniature
$3,000 doodle.
So I've been told to remind everyone that we're doing the last call on the 50-50 raffle. So if you want to get in on the 50-50 raffle, this is your last chance to do so. So one more, well, we got a couple more advice questions here. This one is an anonymous person that's going by Crossing Right. I'm a central midfielder by trade, but recently got moved to a wide position. What's the best way to handle that?
If they're playing, it doesn't matter. Deal with it. All this shit comes to an end.
That seems to be a theme in this.
Otherwise, you gotta be in the office. Just enjoy it while you can.
Yeah, I'm a center back at heart, but I'm playing center forward, so
you do what you gotta do, right?
Exactly. You just gotta bite your tongue and deal with it.
So
you're gonna get donkey calved anyway. So.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
Were you telling Garth when he was doing his off-season planning, were you like, don't worry, Garth, if you really get down to it, I'm happy to play center back?
I was like, well, anyways, when I get back from this injury, I might, center back might have to ease back into it that way. No, didn't say any of that.
You would never play any other position.
No.
There's no way. Some players can, some players can't.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing. It's just, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I got to get to 100 goals first. So.
He's made a career out of only playing striker. Not many players can do that.
He's not done a bad job of it, let's be honest.
No, that's what I'm saying.
I know. All right, so one of the other elements of this show that I think you've kind of come to like is I pitch you a story or a bit idea, and you let me know whether or not you think it's actually a good idea or not. So,
sure. What's the segment called?
It's called Sign 'em or Cut 'em in this case.
Okay.
This is the first I'm hearing about it.
This is the first you're hearing about it. So basically, the idea here is I pose to you some, potentially weird character traits, and you let me know if it is a deal killer or not for going on in a relationship.
Okay.
Does that seem like a potentially...
Sure. Well, just ask the question.
Okay. Okay, so here's the first scenario. The date offers to order an Uber, but when they do, it shows up as an Uber pool. Is that...
Sign him.
Sign him, okay.
She's paying for it?
Yeah, or he, yeah.
Whatever, yeah. Uber pool, why not? You get a story, there's always a story in the Uber pool.
I got no problems with it.
Okay, fair enough. All right, they call their parents mommy and or daddy.
See, that's cut 'em. Right? We're all on the cut 'em. Do you call your mommy mommy? Is that why you're?
No, I don't. I'm trying to figure out like how old we're talking here.
Like now.
Oh, now. No. Yeah.
Like
Sorry.
30-year-old people.
Cut 'em.
Cut them. Okay.
See ya.
Okay. What if they put juice in their cereal?
What? What kind of monster?
Send them to a mental hospital.
Yeah. What is
That's serial killer
Why would you
shit.
even ask me that question?
You'll get murdered that night.
I know. Okay. That's fair. So they don't have a texting plan, and instead they insist on sending you emails with like little details that don't need to be in an email.
So they're basically just texting like an email?
Yes.
They're emailing.
No, they're emailing you what should be texts.
Yeah. I'm not going to read it.
Yeah, no. If you ever saw Chet's phone, his email little button said like 4,922. Drove me nuts. Cut him too.
Yeah.
That stuff, cut him.
Delete his phone.
Cut him.
All right. See, what about when if they clap whenever the plane lands?
Cut him too.
That's like the people that stand up and try to like scoot by you before. It's like
It's that person.
yeah. Like come on.
No,
You're really gonna.
Like the captain's never gonna hear it.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like one of those like ultimate empty gesture things.
All right. So this is one whenever they have something warm, whenever they sip it, they go.
Like every time.
Every time.
Every time. Oh my god. I get like maybe the first time if you're cold.
Right.
Every time.
Yeah, it's not.
I mean, I don't know.
The sipping doesn't bother
Deal
me.
breaker, yeah.
Yeah. Becky would say cut him. My wife would be like, you're out of here.
Yeah.
I can't do that.
Oh yeah.
Like I have to go in the other room if I'm gonna.
Anything like if I'm eating normal, it's like
Yeah.
being too loud. Like stop it. Like,
Right.
How do you want me to eat?
I can hear you chewing. I have to chew my food.
Right.
Just
Moving very slowly, mouth closed, and
so annoying.
staring at you.
And then you feel like self-conscious and not enjoy your food.
I am into it. Like I'm not gonna say that I have this problem as well. But
These are all yours.
yeah, these are all me. Yeah.
These are all things that you were questioning.
Right. Exactly.
You
Exactly.
put orange juice in your cereal.
Don't you, Will?
Yeah.
You put orange juice in your cereal, right? Yeah.
All right. How about they say library, not library, library. I was gonna big one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not since like 3rd grade.
I think you're just making stuff up, man.
Okay.
That's a reach.
All right. Here's one.
Cut him.
They jokingly ask the server for the recipe at a restaurant after enjoying a meal, or maybe they ask for recommendations from the server before the meal.
I'm okay with the recommendations.
Okay.
If I'll usually have something picked out, and if they, if it's in their top 3, I'll go with it. Right?
Okay.
So that's kind of my strategy going into it.
What are you?
But I don't mind asking for that stuff.
Okay.
How do
Good.
servers feel about that? I've
I
never
don't know.
served. Anybody?
I always ask recommendations.
Yeah.
I mean,
But then
I
sometimes I have to go the complete opposite way. Like I know what I'm gonna get.
Right.
but
She's
I
like, the
wanna
sea
know
bass is
what's good.
delicious.
Yeah.
I'll have the steak.
My dad's the worst. I get a super well done steak.
With orange juice on the side.
Orange juice and frosted flakes.
Cereal. There you go.
All right.
Uber pool on the way home.
So
What if your date wears that suit? Did you show up and you're wearing that suit?
Yes.
Psychopath? Cut him?
You marry him. You marry him.
Yeah, it's over.
I mean, that's So this is the last one. What if they're a fan of the Portland Timbers?
Kill. No, seriously, kill. The Whitecaps are just so nice, though. We always say, same with the Whitecaps. I know you don't care, but you go up there and they're like the nicest people ever. They try so hard to be mean. You like walk off and they're like, great game today. You're like, just be meaner, please. Sorry. So sorry.
Well, that's the segment. That's what we got for you. So, Will, I know you got a early bedtime. You got to get ready for training.
I know.
He's
back
training.
It's been a while. Didn't want to be out too
much. Like 6 months ago, it was like, how do I get out of the house for a couple hours? Now it's
literally
like, I got 15 minutes to do this.
It's been full circle.
Something's brewing!
It might be.
So that's the segment. We are going to come back. We're going to have a little fashion show for you. We're going to close out the segment of the show with an interview with Garth. And just a reminder, the auctions, I guess we've pushed it back to 9:05. So if you want to get in on the silent auction, you probably have a little bit of time to do it. But one of the other things that we did for this event was Lickett actually made a kind of joking jersey, and people were really into it. And so we actually reached out to Admiral, who designs jerseys, and we got some made. We actually have them here to sample. We're going to put on a little fashion show for you in a bit.
Why don't you have you need to have like a men's league team. Or a women's league.
Or a men, or any, yeah.
And then you could have a team that wear these jerseys.
Yeah.
Dude.
I like that. You want to play?
Nope.
Dude, we need to get the guy not to take the promotion, and he can start the team.
Oh, there you go. All right. Well, so, yeah. Thanks for doing this, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.